attention to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. My name is Olufumilayo Bambala, and this morning it's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Friday the 24th of July 2026. Of course, this is the last Friday in the month of July. Cannot believe it. This month said, you know what? I'm not waiting for anybody. I am going straight into the next month. And we're all, at the end of the day, we're grateful to God that we can see another day. We're grateful to God that we can see another Friday. But at the same time, for some of us, we might be a bit apprehensive about getting into the new month, because once we enter August, just know that the year is about to end. Because after August, Ember is what we'll be seeing. But anyway, we thank God for everything. Oh, I didn't realize my video wasn't in. Okay, let's get into it. Our analyst is already here this morning. Good morning, Gadito.
Good morning, Fumi. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Lima can be here this morning because she's covering the Word C event this morning. So I'm going to be doing this, and I'm well and able with Adeto, who's also well and able this morning. Okay, we're just going to start off with the headlines before we now get into the ones that we want to talk about this morning. Adeto, please feel free to contribute to anyone that you want to contribute to. That's all right. Okay. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. Also, the phone lines will be open shortly, but in the meantime, you can send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. Walkout from the Punch newspaper. Walkout rocks house as state police bill passes. The more I read this article, the more I was like, wait, hold on. So this article, I think quite a few newspapers carried this as well. It's a bit worrying, or should I say concerning, because the state police, we've been having this dance about whether the state police is going to be passed or not, and finally, it was passed, and then it's going through the lower chamber and then the upper chamber. Right now at the lower chamber, they say it's been passed, but then the minority caucus are like, because there was a walkout that happened. Apparently there were certain, what would I call them? Certain fine details that were missing, and so they were like, we're not part of this. But then they walk out and they say there were about 200 and something votes, and so there's been quite a lot of back and forth between inside the house, basically. And yeah, we'll see how that works out. Now that it's been passed in the lower house, we'll await it being passed as well in the Senate. Employers reject federal government pension contribution hike. When I saw this, I said, did you know, like, what exactly is the issue? Most of you guys always increase something. And I said this maybe at the beginning of the week, that what worries me about the Nigerian government, or what worries me about those in leadership that are ruling us, is that you don't really see a well thought out process in their thought patterns. It's almost like they make a decision, like then there's a backlash, and then you now find that, oh, actually no. Case in point, the WAEC increment. The increment in WAEC fees, WAEC and NECO fees, it was increased without any thought. There was no dialogue with stakeholders, with parents, with schools, with the powers that be, basically the stakeholders, and then it was just increased. There's a backlash, and they come and say, oh, it's suspended. And I was like, did you guys not sit to talk about this in the first instance? Did you not sit and say, okay, let's do the pros and cons of this increment in fees? Why are we increasing this? Bearing in mind that Nigerians are crumbling under the weight of economic hardship, and then you go ahead to increase the fees. How do you want parents who can barely provide 3 square meals for their kids? Imagine you have 2 children in SS3, they are twins, or sometimes it could just be that life-handed firstborn and secondborn happen to be in SS3 at the same time. What then happens? So we're going to fork out 100,000 naira besides all the other monies. Even transport fare gone. The kids can't enter bus anymore. They have to walk a long distance to be able to get the enter fare that will be okay for them to get to school. And then you just open a mouth and say, "Oh, let us increase it." There needs to be more thought. Same with the NYSC. You open your mouth and say, "Oh, we're doing a reform." You think, "Oh, finally, maybe they're not going to send kids to zones, regions that are rife with insecurity and terrorism." Oh no, it's uniform they want to change. Oh no, they want to change orientation from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. And I'm not saying that those things are bad in itself. I'm saying that before you make a decision to say you want to do something because you think that you are, I think that the issue is that they are doing it from a perspective of them. Let me explain. A businessman cannot open a business thinking that without thoughts or without research on what the customers will like to buy from him. If he decides to diversify, don't go and buy something that, or don't go and start selling things that the customers around you, the target audience, are not interested in. It's like you want to start selling block to an Eskimo. You want to sell ice to someone that lives in Antarctica. You want to sell, just think about it in Nigerian parlance, like same thing. What do you want to sell to a Nigerian that they need at that point in time? You want to sell maybe, I can't even think off the top of my head, but you understand what I'm saying. Like there has to be thought to it. There has to be thought to it. Same with jam. Oh, you reduce the cutoff. You say, oh, it's for the greater good of the children, reducing the cutoff to 150. But then you're not also thinking about how it is dumbing down the kids. There's no, one of the things that we pride ourselves on as Nigerians is that we're very, very intelligent, we're brilliant. So when you reduce the cutoff mark for JAM because you say people are failing, then you have to look into why they are failing. What's going on in the schools? Is that they're not teaching them? Who are the teachers that are teaching them? Maybe increase school teachers' salaries, because you can't give what you don't have. It's a teacher that is on salary of 70K. Kilobeko will be very, very cranky. We'll be very, very whoa. Let's see, look, all of us are in the same situation. We'll leave them to their wiles. So you have to look internally at the education system. What kind of books are they giving the kids at school? What's the infrastructure available for them? Before you now say you want to reduce, reduction is not the solution. Instead, you are creating a bigger problem, because we're already complaining about the quality of education the kids are receiving. You now reduce it. Like, those are the things that just really irritate me, because what do you mean? Anyway, so you increase the pension for employers. You're not thinking about the impact on the employers. You're not also thinking about the impact on the employees, because there's a percentage of pension that is taken out from the salaries, which maybe might mean that these employers might need to increase salary, because if maybe they used to do 20K for pension, they have to increase to 40K. That 20K, Taloma, who's responsible for that 20K, that extra one? We don't think that's the problem, and it is showing. In the Guardian newspaper, we have Khan rejects proposed ban on preaching inside vehicles. We won't get into that with our analysis already, because I had initially seen this on X and I was just like, I beg. I'm a Christian, but I have conflicting views on this. But when we get to it, we shall be talking about it. Khan has come out to reject it. The PFN also has come out to reject it. I feel like sometimes the organizations that we have that are responsible for maybe religious organizations, health organizations, or the bodies responsible to fight for these bodies, I feel like they wake up too late, because when this thing was said, nobody came out to say anything. And then all of a sudden you just wake up like, what are we doing? Anyway, Tinubu expands Nigerian Army Division's personnel capacity by 28,000. Those are the headlines from the Guardian newspaper. In the This Day newspaper, we have National Assembly updates Inland Waterways law to align with recent Supreme Court ruling. Senate pushes bigger, firmer budget, orders emergency rescue of failed federal road. Shengbo orders emergency rescue. They saw this road. Nothing was happening. And then the rains have now come to make it worse. Almost is to sit down in your house. My goddaughter is graduating today, and the road to her school, the road to her house, can't drive there. So right now I'm thinking of how I want to do it, because even when I say, oh, I'm on board, her parents are like, well, yeah, joke silly, especially when there's rain. Like, there's I don't know whether to call it a hole or a ditch or Konga. I don't even know. It's just deep inside. So if you have a small car, you're going to get stuck in that thing. The last time I went to their house, I took my husband's car, and even with that one, God said we were struggling because it's a bigger car. With my own small car, and those, like when and the problem is that we have a bad culture of maintenance in Nigeria. When you saw that small pothole, that's when you should have filled it. When you saw that small hole on the road, that's when it should have happened. But we'll wait until Kinyeti budget on, and then you now come. You're not ordering emergency rescue of the road. I don't get, and why this is very, very. Is it? I'm talking about this really because on the express, actually on Monday, was it Tuesday? My parents were telling me how apparently there's some roads in Lagos that Agberos intentionally destroy because they need buses to slow down so that they can get money off them. And I was like, no. Malcolm was like, yes, now that on the way to his office, apparently once they do the road in the night, they come out to destroy the roads so that buses will have to slow down or cars will have to slow down, and then they can do what they want to do. So the question is, you if people are knowing that this is causing the problem on the road, you're not thinking about the safety of Nigerians, people that are driving on local roads and on federal roads. I mean, state roads and federal roads. You're not thinking about those ones. Instead, you're waiting for the pothole to become, you now say, oh, emergency of rescue. And it's raining season. How do you want to rescue a road when it's raining? Sherry, you see, I've gone back to my point. We don't think. If we think, it will show in the things that we do. Moving on to the Daily Trust. We have transport fares rise as petrol hits 1,400 naira per liter. We were here when this war between Iran and America started. The war ended in June. It ended in June. They signed an MOU. From that June, like we had like 3 weeks of them to reduce fuel price. Marketers were speaking English. NMDPRA was speaking English. You just can't reduce it automatically. That's not how it works. They will remove 20 naira today, they will remove 5 naira tomorrow, they will remove 15 naira today, they will remove 15 naira tomorrow. Trump now said, you know what, Iran, I'm not doing it again. We're going to fight this to the last. And let me know my last. I'm such a comedian. And let me know my last. And then everybody was still watching, but my dear Nigerian petrol stations had started increasing price. It started with Dangote. Dangote increased. Then everybody started following suit. I bought fuel at 1,260. When I bought it, I was in shock because I still thought we were still in the 1,001. Like for me, it is the audacity to just increase fuel prices like this because you hear the fight has started. Okay, right now the fuel price per barrel worldwide has now moved to $100, but it was after Trump declared war again on Iran, he moved to $70. But Nigerians, they say, oh no, the war is affecting us. Is the war really affecting you? But like, is that the $100 owner? Like, we are just a set of wicked people. We're a set of wicked people. The last time I bought meat, there's a new lady I buy meat from, and the first time I bought from her was like 8,000 naira per kg. I said, okay. The next time I went to go and buy from her, she said still 8,000 naira. And I said, but things are not as expensive anymore. She goes, don't worry. It just actually came to 8,000. It actually went to 85. I was like, what are we saying? What are you saying? Like, why we're such a bunch of wicked people? Wicked. I would say again, we're a bunch of wicked people. So if we're doing ourselves like this at the lower, at wherever sphere of influence you have, whether you are at the corner shop, you are selling drinks or you're selling whatever, what do we not want to say to these marketers that are controlling everything? I even have a problem with the fact that it's done. Anytime if Dangote reduces, they will reduce. If you increase, like, why is one man so powerful enough to be determining what goes on with Nigeria? I'm so tired. Oh my gosh.
Because we don't know what we are doing, for me. We don't really know what we are doing. Absolutely.
I'm checking relocates.
And and why do we always have to see the need to increase things when the situation is just so troubling for Nigerians? Yes. That's really the sad part of it. Why can't we really have some bit of, empathy at some point in time? I remember when we had COVID-19 and other nations, were trying to see how they could make life a bit easy for their citizens.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, it wasn't so. That's actually when we started increasing the cost of things. It's really sad. It's really sad.
It is well. I said, let me jack but every time I have this conversation with my family, my husband is like, do you know how old we are? Do you know how old we are? You want us to start life all over again? I'm like, I'll say, babe, oh yeah, now let's do. You say, Oga, I'm just like, oh my God.
To some extent, we'll just be hopeful and pray that we have leaders, that will come back to the round table. At least there's a reason why there's sense. There's a reason why there's reasoning, at some point to make things easy for the people that are being governed. But so far, we've not seen that. And we'll continue to be hopeful. My own is that they shouldn't do it to the extent of pushing people to the extreme and, making people to go insane because of the hardship and everything.
Okay. Come on, Shama. Like I sprinkle the blood of Jesus on everybody. God will touch your heart. God will touch your heart, and it will not be a wicked person because nobody has told you that you're a wicked person. I'm here to say that you're a wicked person. As long as you take advantage of the situation of the country to increase, it's different if you're like like you've been trying not to. There are people that I know that they try not to increase the prices of their goods and services because they understand. And when they cannot anymore, they will send you, they'll tell you that based off of the economy, we are going to have to, we're sorry. We tried not to, but right now, we ourselves, we're barely able to meet the demand or even be above we don't want to run at a loss basically. So they will tell you. But the ones that take advantage of the situation in Nigeria, because the salary they are paying you is still the same salary you are collecting. So you know that my salary is still 200k. And yet, if people that even have salary of 200k, those are even big boys. So let's talk call it spade. But you know that my salary is 200k, and you are increasing fuel. You are increasing price of goods and services. Where should I see money to increase those things? And what really worries me are like the children who, we've talked about this many times on here. I'm so tired of I'm tired of talking about it, but we'll always talk about it. Parents can't afford to buy chicken anymore. Parents can't afford to buy any form of protein, whether chicken, fish, meat, turkey, which turkey, any of them. So they go, do you know what? Let's buy eggs. Guess what? Plus the price of egg, plus the price of chicken, they are the same. So what can the kids eat with their food? When we see, that's why kids are not looking healthy. Like when we were in primary school, they taught us about the 6 classes of food. And just 6 classes of food more. Only 1 class and carbohydrate. Rice, morning, noon, and night. Rice, morning, noon, and night. Rice.
Now we have underbalanced diets.
Yeah.
Underbalanced diet. It's no longer balanced. Yeah.
So sad though. Okay. Soldier declared wanted over alleged sale of military uniforms to terrorists. I don't understand why he's wanted. People should go and carry him because and that's the thing, we know that when our military or paramilitary or police force want to work, they know how to work. Carry the guy, bundle him, arrest him, throw him inside jail. Because what do you mean you are selling military uniforms to terrorists? Sherry, I just finished talking about Nigerians being wicked to each other, Sherry. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, 2027 PFN kicks against Muslim tickets. Was it with you? I think it was with you, Adito, that we talked about the Muslim ticket, and I had asked that, what your thoughts on it? I think you were like, as long as the person is competent, it doesn't really matter. But now the PFN, they've woken up from their slumber to say no, but against it. They knew since last year.
Unfortunately for me, there's nothing they can do about it.
Cannot do anything about it.
Except if they want to bring out another party where you have 2 Christians.
It's already late.
I remember I mentioned it, that is who the party brings out, that
Yeah,
will be on a particular
yeah.
political platform.
If they were
So
serious with their life, they would have done that.
except if probably we have another party somewhere that will bring out that kind of preference
At
that
all,
people can
everybody
vote
has
for.
registered.
But
At all.
definitely we know that I think the campaign season and all that is almost rounding up.
Yeah,
And so I don't know what will be done about it. And we've said it last Friday about the dynamics of our polity here in Nigeria, and how the candidates being pushed out by each political party affects the decisions that the electorates also make
yeah,
at the
yeah.
at the polls. And I also cited example whereby when women are told to step down, not even getting to the primaries, we know that at the end of the day, it is those that get to that level that will be voted for. So it's just how our political space is, and except if we change it, I think this is what we continue to have. So it's now left on us to pray that whoever is being pushed out has integrity and is willing, to listen to the yearnings of the people and make things right. Because really, we can't continue to use religion as a cover up. We've seen the failed system over the years, and so I would say that the integrity of the person really matters, the commitment of the person really matters, and of course, stewardship, to be concerned about the needs of the populace is also very important.
Yes, yes, yes. Well said. Yes. I mean, that's really it. Okay, moving on. We have Oshumpol, Accord Party, police differ over officers' neutrality. Moving on to the Premium Times, Enugu Air confirms runway excursion in Benin. No injuries reported at Dupe. SSS rescues remaining abducted Zamfara Polytechnic students. Think that's great news, and we're thankful for that. The Nation newspaper, we have 3 Ansaru terrorists linked to the Ori rape abductions get life jail. Okay. Presidency, Obasanjo hit article for US adventure disloyalty. In the cable newspaper, we have appeal court vacates order freezing 124 bank accounts linked to Aisha Achimugu. Earlier this week, or was it last week, we talked about how her assets had been frozen. Now they've been unfrozen. All the best to everybody involved. We all know what we're doing in this country. Article to presidency, insults cannot replace transparency in Tinubu's US forfeiture case. And the Daily Post, you privatized government assets, left pensioners unpaid. Tinubu knocks article. You see this dance between article and the presidency. Every time I'm like, just people should just be exposing each other's secrets. That's all I want. The problem is that even if they expose each other's secrets, nothing is going to come out of it. That's the problem. That's my worry, because they'll not be like, oh, we've seen that people that are committing crime, Loju Koroju, inside the broad daylight, and nothing is done. On Wednesday, I think it was, I was having a conversation with the ladies on her lens about David Umahi, the Minister of Works, and all the scandals and accusations that are around him. Till today, we've seen nothing. And that's the problem I have with Nigeria. We are seeing blatant crime, criminal activities done in daylight, and nothing is done about it. It is well to everybody involved. God is the one that's good. At the end of the day, it's God that will help us to this country. And I know people are tired of saying, oh, why don't stop calling on God? But to be honest, who I go call? I'm not getting anybody person to call. Eh? They must be accountable. US government condemns killing of Dachomo's family members. You see, this particular piece of news, I refuse to look at it. My brother was showing me the gory video. I said, it's not me and you. I can read the headline, but I cannot watch it because it is Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo has been one of the prominent voices from Plateau State who has been complaining about the insecurity and terrorism in Plateau State for a very, 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 very long time. And then now, about I think 9 members of his family were butchered, including a 3-month-old baby. I don't know. I don't know what the government is looking at, seeing all these things happening. Oh, I know what they are doing. 2027. Nobody cares about Nigerians right now. It is the elections come 2027 everybody's worried about. But then people are dying. Innocent lives are being killed, are being butchered in real time, and nothing is being said. The presidency hasn't sent any emissary to Plateau State to say what's going on. I mean, we have these cases everywhere in Nigeria, and nothing has been said. Now, if it happens in the south again, I mean the west again, everybody will be doing good. And I guess it's the west, okay, you have more media voices in the west, but we'll keep speaking against it. We'll keep speaking about it until something is done. In the Tribune newspaper, ADC to Tinubu, Trump's letter won't save you from defeat. So President Trump had written a letter to Tinubu basically telling him well done. And ADC is saying, don't deceive yourself. He say or letter. Anybody can write letter to anybody. Okay. We contacted NSA to ascertain status of PFIPC, says PS Foreign Affairs. That's with regards this phantom agency. Lastly, today we have from the pen pushing newspaper, former Ogun State Chief of Staff Toyin Taiwo bags second PhD. People are really learning, what am I doing myself? You are playing politics of blackmail, which holds low water, says Iyabo Obasanjo to Yaye. That's the aspiring governor of Ogun State. Those are the headlines this morning from the national dailies. It's been an interesting run looking through each of these headlines from the dailies with our analysts. But we are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. The phone lines are now open 07000 917 917, 0800 123 5917, or 09155 917 917. Okay. Our analyst is here this morning. Let's get into it with her. This one is from the Vanguard newspaper. The time is 3 minutes to 8, and you're tuned to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. This is the Daily News Review. We have our analyst with us this morning, Adetong Adebogo. She has joined us early. She comes early. I can see that some messages are already coming in, but before we even get there, let's take. Oh, I can see somebody. We have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We cannot hear you. Josephine, please call Michael. I think there's a button to reduce the volume is why we cannot hear him. If you call Michael, I think it's the last button on the calls on top. Please call him so we can sort it out, because we can hear it over here. Please give us a moment to sort out these technical issues. Josephine, please call Michael to assist you. Thank you so much. Okay. In the PFN, in the Vanguard newspaper, beg your pardon, PFN urges Tinubu to reject anti-preaching law. So this proposed legislation was not among the urgent issues requiring government attention. That's what the Christian body says. That's what PFN is saying. Insisting that Nigeria's major problems borders on insecurity. That's correct. Hunger and economic hardship. So basically, there's a law. I'm trying to find that law because I saw it just now. Okay. So Nigeria Senate recently passed the FRSC bill, which proposes a 50,000 naira fine for anyone convicted of preaching, trading, or hawking inside commercial buses. And funny enough, inside commercial bus, the times I've been on the bus, you see those women or those men who come to trade and sell things. I'm so fascinated by them because the drugs they sell solves everybody's problem. The drugs they sell, one-stop shop. It solves everybody's problem. Plus, if you have rashes, if you have scabies, if you have erectile dysfunction, if you want to be pregnant, if you are barren, it solves all the problem. And that's where my worry is, because how can one drug solve everybody's problem? Plus, we don't know if they've not, like, for the most part, NAFDAC has not certified them. You get, so for them to be saying, oh, this, it's just a very, very interesting thing. But the Nigerian Senate had said, look, if you sell on the bus, if you walk on the bus, if you trade on the bus, and if you preach on the bus, we are gonna charge you. Be paid 50,000 naira fine, and as soon as that's it, that's the only way. And so the point of it is that they want to cut down on noise pollution and physical disturbances that distract drivers and endanger lives. Excuse me, Senate, the disturbances that distract drivers and endanger lives is bad roads. I was driving on Sunday. I was going to church. Every time I don't like to drive out anymore because of the state of the roads. And the first thing I said to myself was, oh my gosh, Lagos roads are a death trap. I wonder how for so many years we don't have multiple accidents multiple times on the road. It's just a miracle, because number one, we don't have lights on the road. The roads are not well lit. So at night, if you're driving, you're on your own, especially if your headlamps are not bright enough. But then you also know that if the ongoing vehicles are also shining their lights, so it enter your eye. Number two, the roads are bad. So I think it's a thing of wonder, honestly. We have a call again. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Exactly. Although I was not young people started, but see, Nigerian problems, we that are causing our problem. We are people who go to church, who go to mob, no fear of God. If we all are doing the right thing in this nation, we do the right thing in fear of God. Nigeria will not do it, even in the whole world. Because we are not about to go, we are choosing to go away. This anti-preaching law is not going to work. I preached for 18 years inside board before I retire. Even when they know the law, I never listen. I still coming from preaching in the street now before I join the people. Because every 5 o'clock I will leave my house, enter the street and preach. And I will not stop it. I rather obey God than men. And they should not sign it. If they sign it, they are going against God. They will not stop preaching. It's not telling mercy. No, preaching the gospel of Jesus. God has asked us to go and preach. To go into the world, go over there and preach the gospel. And that preaching, that's what changed people. That's what makes you have the fear of God. You have the accent of the word of God. The devil will take control. The word of God that makes people fear, makes people do the right thing. So Nigerians, we are the cause of our own problem. See the way we are taking, look at this when our country cannot, even house rent and everything. Say you are collecting 200. You know that some people are collecting 50K. Yes. Less than 50K. See, of course, now, how much is house rent? I told you, this week I'm living. When I came here, the house rent was 30 naira. I'm going to 50 naira. Flat, 80, 100. The same house today, only is 25,000. 30,000. Human palo, 600, 700. It's one point something million. And 2 bedroom flat for this area is going for 2.5. 2 million, 1.5. 3 bedroom flat, the same thing, 3 million. Who do us? And after we are crying, who is uplifting us? Do you know that some of the flat is not coming down? People that say what you are eating, some of the things you are eating is fake. Corruption has eaten deep. If we all do what we are supposed to do in the fear of God, we will be where we are today. Today in our prayer, they must go full up. So the church go with this same wicked, corrupt people who are not willing to repent. We are doing the wrong thing praying. How will God hear our prayer? When we are pleasing one another, we are the one who are pleasing one another. If we are turned about to God, we are choosing to go away. And expect to repent and come back. Things will not change. God so much bless this country. I'm telling you, if we can do the right thing, I know our leaders, many of our leaders are not doing the right thing. But I cannot say because they are not doing the right thing, me, I will not do the right thing. If they enter fire, I might go to enter. Anywhere we are, we should learn to do what is right. That means Nigeria should start from us. Anywhere we are, we do what is the fear of God. In the fear of God and pray. In Nigeria, that means Nigeria will those that have advanced a little. Nigeria was on that before Nigeria, Naira was higher than the dollar. Do you know JC as I didn't work? Me, 25 kobo. 2 things of milk. If I want to drink 1 cup of milk, I put 1 cup of tea, I will put 1 tin of milk. Today, how much is a tin of milk? 700, 800. This same thing of how much is I can we tell you why who do so far we can phone will take increase the price of goods. So you don't hear say rice don't increase. And go there too much gain. Some of the things we are eating, they're using chemical. That's why liver disease, heart disease, kidney disease. Today, in the most, tomorrow, Sunday, in the church, we should learn to do what is happening in Nigeria. I've enjoyed this country. I've still enjoyed it. This country was not like this. That one is a good country, blessed by God. Except we repent and do that, this country will not change. We should learn to do that anywhere we are. Know that God is. You can try and get away. You cannot get away from God. One day, my sister, the Muslim, no casket. The Christian that have golden casket. I love the Muslim brother. Everything we end with city. So when you have that, do you go from there? We learn to fear God and do that. That better Nigeria will looking for will come on board. Nigeria will do it again. God bless Nigeria. God bless and God bless and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for calling. And that's really where it is. Some people, so there are different conflicting opinions on this. Some people are like, yeah, the noise is too much. I just want to get on the bus and not hear anything. But then some people, I find that if I'm doing it, and when I used to travel by road a lot, I don't even travel anymore. When I used to travel by road a lot, I find that I'm just like, whoa. But I also find that there are a lot of passengers that look forward to those prayers that the preachers on the bus pray, because people want journey messages. We are a highly religious country. So when you say, oh, that you're stopping preaching on the buses, are you by that manner prohibit? It's like you're infringing on freedom of expression, freedom of preaching. I just want to say, she will help us. Over to you.
Well, there are a lot of perspective to this, but let's start with the law. When you talk about the human rights law that we have, this will be one way that the government is trying to infringe on the freedom of expression as it relates to freedom of association, religion, and what have you. So I just as you said at the beginning of the program, you always ask questions when these things come up. If our government really, have a clear thought over whatever decisions they are trying to make, leaving things that are very, very important and concentrating more on those things that are less, less of concern. If you also look at it from the angle of why infringe on the rights of people who actually don't mean any harm. Preaching in a bus really don't have any harm on anybody. And the way Lagos roads are, you, apart from the noise pollution, apart from the pollution that comes even from different buses, cars on the road, there are times whereby even in the bus, there's some kind of jokes that come in and goes, just as you mentioned, those selling things and all that. So it's a whole lot of drama in the buses that if you are going to go from one location to the other, there's a lot of drama. If it's not with the conductor, it's with those selling. If it's not, so it's more like a way at times even that some people, they use a lot of stress when different activities is happening in the bus simultaneously. And that is not to take away the fact that if this preaching is being done in the bus, you have the right to listen, you have the right not to listen. And when they do this preaching, they don't make it as a compulsion or compulsory that you have to listen. And as I want to go down to where Evangelist Dixon said it's a command from God. Absolutely, anywhere you go, you have to talk about Christ and all that. And you also mentioned something that at a time when there's a lot of stress and probably you are thinking of so many things at the same time, when this preaching comes, some people find solace in the word of God. Some people, they feel calm once this preaching comes up and all that. So we can't deprive people of what they benefit from listening to the word of God. And I see it as something that is contrary. We've seen that it's absolutely like going against human rights, except if we get a forum where maybe majority of those who go in and out using the public transportation system comes and say no preaching, and it's like a consensus to say no, we don't want it. I think that's when we now know that it's affecting a lot of citizens, and you can't have that clashing. We have to create an enabling environment for each other. So if the people that are concerned in the buses are not even seeing any issue with it, why would the government want to say, oh, we want to ban this? And I also feel that there are important matters that the government should sit on and see that those things are dealt with, not with things like this. They waste so much hours deliberating on things that are not even a priority to them, and leave the ones that they are actually supposed to prioritize. And then if you take it further, you mentioned those selling in the buses. I also feel that at some point in time, NAFDAC they have a lot of duties to do to ensure that these drugs that are being sold in buses are not drugs that will harm, people. For different reasons. Somebody selling methylator or whatever is different from someone selling drugs that you take into your mouth, and you are not even sure if it's contaminated or it's something that shouldn't be taken at all. We would allow NADRAC to look into that. That is NADRAC's duty, not that you have people just sitting at the round table and making noise over those selling in buses, making noise over those preaching in buses. I think there are a lot of power. In fact, when I saw the headline, I was like, so what's going on here? Are we saying we want to start sealing people's mouth from talking about God in a country where we know that outrightly we are very, religious, over religious? And then we need God in this country. We really need him. We can't do without God whether we like it or not. We have some set of leaders that are not compassionate about what people are going through. And even the Bible is telling us that we should humble ourselves and pray. This nation has to be better than where it is right now. We have leaders, we are praying for them so that they will come to their senses and do what is right for the people. And then this same set of leaders are saying they want to shut some people out. When I saw some of the comments, I think the response from PFN, they didn't even talk much about it. They were just, trying to say that they shouldn't bother about because it's not really a priority. And then there's one of the issues where I saw I'm trying to look at who actually gave out the response, saying that they wanted the reps that they should have called the stakeholders or put it in the open, as I mentioned, to people to come and, talk about, maybe organize a town hall meeting or something to talk about it. For me, I feel that they're actually wasting time talking about this. We need a lot of other issues that they should pay attention to. And I also feel that, going forward, the government should begin to look at how to make life easier for Nigerians.
We have a call. Sorry to interrupt you. Hello, good morning.
Why is it morning? When you keep so or you continue talking,
good morning, Chief Agundi.
Yeah, is that for me?
It's for me.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm fine. People speaking the better, you get me. But issue is that it was also content in the back. But it's something with this party to stand. And so I don't think it's possible enough for people to come to see the boss and hospital from the end of that. You understand, you want to always be taken out. Or if you want to you can get out. I'm pretty sure I thought it was like that. That is something I can see. It's not something that
all right, thank you so much, Evangelist Chief Agozie. Okay, Adetoma, you want to round off your point before we move on?
Yes, and as I mentioned, I also saw where it was said that I think the traffic security personnel were the ones that initiated that this is actually a traffic offense. And I'm wondering, traffic offense, are they the ones? No, whoever is preaching or whoever is selling in the bus, are they the ones holding the steering? Are they the ones? Because I'm trying to understand where the traffic offense comes from. A driver should concentrate on the road. So how has that got to do with whatever is going on in the bus?
I wonder.
Because when I studied that, it is even the traffic personnel that said that this is considered traffic offense. I'm wondering how do you have someone preaching in the bus at the same time, conflicting the driver that is supposed to concentrate on the road to be driving? I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
So when you're on the road, which day was I driving? You will just be hearing wow, wow, wow. If there's anybody who's actually lawless, it's mostly our government officials. They're the ones in a haze. They're the ones that pass one way. Once there's thick traffic, they pass one way. Once they want to pass, everybody must be inconvenienced for them to pass. So I'm a bit conflicted as to how they rose up with this one-way conversation, because no. Are there Nigerians that are lawless and then just do the most? Yes. But we find that the people that break most laws of traffic lights, not when there's traffic passing one way, are government officials. And how do we know that they're government officials? We see their vehicles, we see them with mopoles, we see them with the sirens on top of their vehicles. Okay.
And FRLC they've not checked that this amendment of their bill that they want to do, they have not seen the line where they will add what you just said. The officials that are always going on one way, and immediately they do that, you see a lot of cars following them. They move out of the order of the line and follow this as government officials, moving out of the line. And of course, you said it, once they see traffic, they don't want to wait. They want to go the other way, and everybody follows suit. So FRSC that is amending their bill, they've not seen a line where they can put this and state it categorically that all government officials and all that should not, maneuver in intending to go on one way where every other person will follow suit. They have not seen that, to put a punishment on it. They have not seen that. They are talking about preaching and selling in the bus and saying that it's traffic offense. Well,
at a wrinkle. Anyway. Okay, this is still Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. And this is the Daily News Review with our analyst, Adeton Adebogo. We've been speaking on this new law by the Senate, this bill to say, they want us to, what do you call it, it's illegal to preach on the bus. It's illegal to sell on the bus, commercial activities and preaching. The PFN and CAN have come out to say, you're infringing on our basic fundamental human rights. One of it is freedom of expression. So they are urging the president to not sign the bill. Let's just be looking as it is going. Okay, let's take some messages this morning. The phone lines are still open: 07917 0800 123 5917. And 09155 917 917. You can send your text messages, WhatsApp messages to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. All right. Oluchiga Jai from Odunlai Korodu says Dangote wanted to increase petrol prices without people shouting. He said NNPCL isn't supplying crude, so I'll buy abroad and sell in dollar. Yep. Did that. NNPC busted him, so he switched. I'll sell in naira, but price increases. All this drama just to raise prices. The government really needs to find a way to help us with these capitalists. I remember when Dangote refinery was about to open, and then himself, the NMDPRA, was the last body. They were at loggerheads. There was a strike, and I remember quite a few people saying that, you want to do business with this man? He's a capitalist, too. So, like, he's a businessman and they're cutthroats, and people are like, oh no, it's for the greater good of Nigeria. Well, here we are. Because there's a Dangote situation. There's also the fact that the war is going on between Iran and America. Like I said, we'll call upon God to help us, because this is just too much. And the fact that the government is dragging their feet and not doing anything with regards this economic hardship is saying a lot about the government. 2027 is coming upon us. Carry your card and go and vote. Go and register now and go and vote. For me, where's Nima? Nima went for the Word C event. The Word C is town hall meetings where Word C is raising awareness about infant mortality, actually death during childbirth, and the slogan is "No man should die while giving birth." So they were raising awareness about that. What are the things that women should do, hospitals should do in order to curb or reduce to the lowest possible point deaths in childbirth, women dying while they're giving birth. Okay, Adeto's frustration is driving Atiku, not carrying his bitterness and desperation abroad, portraying himself to Americans as a fraudster, sharing $1.2 lobbying spree. Tinubu expanding army into 12 divisions is a welcome innovation, making the army closer and effective to the people. Also, the National Assembly should project a new salary structure and welfare package for the military for their present onslaught on terrorism without delay to encourage them more. I absolutely agree with you. I hope Americans, beg your pardon, and UN will rise to challenge Trump's show of shame with Iran now pushing the whole world into economic chaos and hardship. Yes, for me, now you just didn't say we are pathologically wicked and oppressive. It's not now. It's just that every day I'm just amazed at it. Dangote is now wielding his monopolistic instincts on petrol now, like in his other industries. Shame and woe to those who crippled our refineries for their selfish ideology. That is still Evangelist Shegu Ideji. He comes back to say, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. There is pressure on the president about a particular religion. The president's household are Christians. So while preaching is the problem of this country, with countless social, so why is preaching the problem of this country with countless social madness? That's a very, very good question, because it's like you refuse to face the one that is in front of you. You say you want to go to the one that does not really count. Okay, moving on. Benue insecurity. The state of insecurity in Nigeria has risen beyond. What's the way forward? When we're running through the headlines, we talk about Plateau State and how Reverend Ezekiel Akomo's family, where 9 members were slaughtered, butchered mercilessly, including a 3-month-old baby. Was the way. In Benue State, it's like insecurity is now the order of the day. Nobody's really thinking about any other thing again, and we don't see our government officials, or we don't see the president saying anything about it. Benue State used to be one of the most peaceful states in the country, but now there's so much wave of killings, violent crimes. And the president has directed security agents to curb it, but we're still seeing that the state has been overtaken by violence, overtaken by bandits, overtaken by kidnappers, overtaken by criminal gangs. What's the way forward before we go?
Well, I like the statement made by the IG. I think this was when he was having meetings with the elders and religious leaders and community members. He categorically said that the police belongs to the people. We are here to serve, not to dominate. I will continue to visit Benue until lasting peace returns. And for me, that's an encouragement to Benue State, because way back, autumn will come, he will cry and say, oh, this state, this and that. There was even a time he said that the indigents should take up arms to defend themselves against all these criminal activities. I just feel that it will make a lot of sense if the state begins to look inward. Because we know that the communities, they know those living in those communities. The intelligence gathering will also help to know those that are actually infiltrating that state and causing all these sleepless nights for the people. Because I feel that they know those people. Probably they are afraid of pointing them out, or they feel that they won't be protected after giving those information to escort personnel. But with what the IG said, I feel that they really need to look inward more, get detailed investigation in different communities, or even most of the communities in Benue, to know those that are actually coming into that state to cause all this havoc. Another thing will be that in as much as we continue to throw the blame on the government, the indigents also have a responsibility to watch over each other, and that will also help them. Aside from the information they are giving to escort personnel, it will also help them to be able to know those that are not bona fide indigents in those communities. because if some people are coming to terrorize you in your territory, the best thing to do is to fish them out. Not just that, know those that are your own, so that at every point in time, everybody is vigilant, everybody knows who is not part of their community, and report such cases, rather than allowing it to degenerate into bigger issues. If you also look at it, I don't know, because I remember while we were growing up, Benue State food basket of the nation. I don't think that is happening now, because they've actually turned that state. It's like there's an agenda to destroy Benue State entirely. They can't even go to farms to do their normal activities. They can't go out to do their normal activities, and I feel that even the traditional rulers there, the community heads, should work in hand with our security personnel to ensure that all those that are infiltrating that state are pushed out and they are arrested, because this is it. At a point in time, I'm thinking, why is there so much, or is there gold in that state, apart from what we know as food basket of the nation? Because I'm wondering, why is it that there's so much of this violent hostility in that state, killings here and there in that state? Probably maybe there are some things that we don't know yet, that they are looking for in that state, and they want to destroy it in order to get it. I feel that our security personnel should do a thorough investigation into what is actually causing this rampage on Benue State, because it's gone too long. We continue to hear different communities in Benue are being attacked, and there's nobody to rescue. They would have done the work gone before we hear what is happening, So I just feel that they really need to look inward. The IGP should look inward and get, probably a different angle to investigating what is really going on in that state, and be able to flush out those that are, causing this havoc in that state.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for that. My. Okay, we have come to the end of the daily news review program this morning. Thank you so much, Aditya, for coming on the program today. See you next week, Friday, for another edition of it. We truly appreciate it for you taking time out of your time to be with us every day, every Friday at 7:30 in the morning. With that being said, thank you to our viewers, our listeners, for being a part of the daily news review program this week. Massive shout out to Josephine and Michael for producing us this morning. 9 o'clock is the news, 9:05 is Headlines. Don't go anywhere. This is still Women Radio 91.7.